Extreme Rules has been a pay-per-view on its own since 2009, and there have been stinkers and then there have been great matches. And in this video, I will be checking out 10 of the best Extreme Rules pay-per-view matches or premium live event matches, whichever one you want to call it now, in WWE history so far. Should be good. Let's go.
So last week we had a look at the backwash of Extreme Rules, the dregs at the bottom of the can that even an alcoholic possum would turn its nose up at, and didn't we all have a fun time? We did. Shut up. Shut your mouth, we did. But this time around, let's look at the very best matches that have extremely ruled. It's hard to write lists, and I've written over 100 of them for Ollie Bloody Davis at this point.
That is true. Lists are very hard to make. I wanted to dabble in it when I was starting this channel. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So I respect them a ton. You know, partsFUNknown, Wrestle Culture, Cultaholic, all the people that write wrestling lists. WrestleMania as well. Even though WrestleMania can be controversial sometimes. But I respect them.
And he won't let me stop. Most of these matches are stone cold classics and a stark reminder that even with a pay-per-view format that WWE's mostly ignored for the past decade, you can never fully write it off because almost every single year since its conception, there's been one absolute banger happening at Extreme Rules. I'm Adam hailing from partsFUNknown, and here are the 10 greatest Extreme Rules matches ever. And if you do want to hear us be mean or grumpy, or say, you know, swear a lot, because that normally happens in the bad ones, then check out last week's list. 10 worst Extreme Rules matches ever.
I should probably check this video. I didn't want to check it out because I seen that a lot of people had already checked it out, and I didn't want to look like I was copying. But let me know in the comments if you want me to check it out, and I will. It would be very interesting, though. It would make sense to check it out, but let me know.
There's a there. Number 10, Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio, 2009.
I've heard good things about it.
Point to Chris Jericho's rivalry with Shawn Michaels as the best part of his late 2000s run. What may be on a par with that level of Y2J excellence is Jericho's 09 feud.
Y2J excellence.
Mysterio, obsessed with Rey's mask.
In the mask,
From him, Jericho started his performance at Extreme Rules at the merch stand, cutting a great troglodyte-filled promo, working his way through the crowd before beginning his no-holds-barred match.
Interesting.
Championship. Now, these might have been the two best wrestlers in WWE at the time, and they again showed why it was criminal they didn't get an extended rivalry over the Cruiserweight title in WCW. The match also peaked at a perfect moment as Jericho managed to masterfully rip Mysterio's mask off his face.
Whoa, okay, that's how you... So this is the match where that happened, okay.
WWE IC title.
Interesting.
Quite reached the levels of greatness of their highly underrated match at the Bash a month later.
Yeah, this match was great. I love this one.
Feud probably means it was a pretty great feud. Number 9, New Day versus Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan versus Heavy Machinery in 2019. In the, oh yeah, that was a pretty great match spot on this list. We have the excellent three-way SmackDown Tag Team title match from Extreme Rules 2019. WWE have been selective about when they want to care about their tag division, but for 14 minutes on this night, they cared, which is 14 minutes more than in 2020. We had a breakout performance from Heavy Machinery, whose run carried the middle of the match, with people getting genuinely behind them after the match started fairly tepid. Yet Daniel Bryan being just the best goddamn best, getting to put his working shoes on against Xavier Woods and Big E, which led to an all-time great tag team finish with Big E shrugging off Bryan's kicks and slaps.
I remember that.
Catching him mid-backflip, you know the one Bryan did,
I remember
holding
this.
him on his shoulder while Bryan frantically tried to escape it. He rushed to tag Woods and hit the midnight hour to win the match.
I remember this match.
A match that started cold but ended white hot. Number 8.
I think Extreme Rules 2019 is somewhat underrated. You know, that was the pay-per-view that had Undertaker, Roman teaming up to face Shane and Drew in that Extreme Rules tag team match. I forgot about that match. I forgot about this one we just saw. Like, aside that match, because it's Undertaker and I'm an Undertaker stan, I totally forgot about every other match except the Becky-Seth team-up thing that, yeah, we don't need to talk about that anyway.
Christian versus Alberto Del Rio, 2011. Why did WWE hate Christian so much? Oh, I Vince hated him. He thought he was ugly.
He had 3 title runs in the middle of the year.
Dot over Christian's face whenever he was on screen. Such a normal man he was. For one brief moment, however, it appeared that WWE was finally going to give Christian his flowers after carrying ECW's carcass to the finish line and being Edge's cornerman at WrestleMania. At Extreme Rules 2011, Christian faced notable prick Alberto Del Rio for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship in a ladder match. Christian is all right at them.
Of course.
As matches go, this one is highly underrated. Arm-based ladder offense from Del Rio, fellow noted nutter Brodus Clay somehow getting absolutely busted open, and Christian finally winning his first WWE World title in a genuinely emotional moment, celebrating with the recently retired Edge, his best friend slash kind of brother. Maybe people don't talk about this one as much because Del Rio is in it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because this is 2011, meaning Michael Cole is waxing dickhead on commentary. Or maybe it's because WWE took this nice moment away just days later, having Randy Orton dethrone Christian Cleed on SmackDown. Who's to say?
Practically 2 days, if you really think about it.
Just like number 7, Jeff.
I want to say, I did hear him make a remark about how the World Heavyweight title was Christian's first WWE World title, which, you know, I guess WWE never truly valued the, they never really valued the ECW World title. I don't think they did. You know, I guess it was a standalone thing because Bobby Lashley, by default, Bobby Lashley is like a 3-time ECW World Champion, or 2-time, if I am correct. Something along those lines. So, it does beg to question how WWE really viewed the title, but anyway.
Jeff Hardy versus Edge, 2009. Another match featuring the slowly crumbling bodies of the men who revolutionized the match type a decade earlier. Jeff Hardy and Edge's 2009 rivalry came to a head in a ladder match over big gold.
Great match.
We know now how bad Edge's neck was at the time,
Great
being less
match.
than 2 years out from his eventual 9-year retirement.
Yeah.
It is insane the spots these two
Edge
in
really
this match. They do the
pulled it off.
inverse of the classic TLC 2 spot with Jeff catching Edge with a twist of fate.
Yes.
And goes for a spear off a ladder. They both tumble through a ladder bridge with a landing that, shall we say,
Jesus.
sucked.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just goes so hard in a ladder match that, again, isn't talked about nearly enough these days. We've got a fantastic finish as well. As Edge reaches for his title, Hardy pulls his legs through the rung of the ladder, leaving Edge to only be able to look up helplessly
As Hardy took the
Jeff
title.
climbs the ladder,
CM Punk
wins
catching
his
after
gold.
this.
Such a perfect bit of heel comeuppance that is yet to be done as well since.
Yes.
This match is also known as the precursor to CM Punk's second Money in the Bank cash-in, making Jeff's long-awaited celebration wait just a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Number 6.
and the thing with this match too, it just reminded me of the fact that Bianca and Bayley are going to have the women's first one-on-one ladder match for a title. Of course, there has been a women's ladder match, but that was a tag team match back in 2019. At least to the best of my recollection. If there have been any more, let me know. But this will be the first one. That's pretty cool. I really want to see what they want to do in that match. I'll get to my predictions video. I'm not going to give away who I think is going to win and all that. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in what they're doing in that match. But.
Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, 2012. Hey, look, it's the match they should have had at WrestleMania. But hey, if they had that match at WrestleMania, would Daniel Bryan have got the groundswell of support he got for being so poorly?
Probably not.
Yes, movement and his eventual rise to the
Probably
top.
not.
So let's just be happy we got this match here at Extreme Rules. The match in question is a perfect example of how to do a good 2 out of 3 falls match in a way that doesn't make the first 2 falls completely arbitrary.
Okay.
Rather than the typical formula of heel gets heat and also a pinfall, babyface makes his comeback and also a pinfall, then the real match starts.
Wow, that's a very questionable position.
This match uses the stipulation to its advantage. In a strategic play, Bryan sacrifices the first fall of the match, losing by disqualification for kicking too much ass, to try and weaken Sheamus with subsequent falls. He then immediately locks in the yes lock for a speedy second fall win. And then it was a battle for Sheamus to overcome his weakened state to get the best of the conniving Bryan, which he did with one of the best bro kicks ever. This is a clinic and the highest point of Sheamus' run as World Heavyweight Champion, which otherwise blew a fairly significant fat one. 1/500 fella. Number 5, Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, 2017.
Do I remember this? I do not.
Partridge in a pear tree. Now, we're really starting to get into the goodies of this list. If I'm being honest, any of the top 5 matches on this list could have taken the top spot. If they're your number 1,
really?
I can argue with you. But this is my list, and this is the order. Please feel free to voice your displeasure at TempestWT on Twitter. Also, we have a fatal 5-way at number 5. And isn't that...
I remember this one. I remember this one. I think Samoa Joe won this.
Lesnar to face it. Great balls of fire.
Look at, oh my, hold on, I gotta back this up. You guys need to see this.
Brock Lesnar to face it.
When you invert it, the ball, okay, I'm gonna stop over here.
Great balls of fire. It hasn't become less bizarre they called a pay-per-view that. Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt.
Let's never do this again, Triple H, please.
That is a main event scene. boys, everyone involved had a feasible shot at winning, which gave the match a level of unpredictability.
Everyone has a 20% chance.
WWE main events.
Does this
so much to like in this match, be it the furthering of Seth and Bray's rivalry, or just the insane heat Roman was continuing to get after taking over the Undertaker's yard.
Roman should have been a heel. Roman should have been a heel.
This is one of the best examples of that. And also Samoa Joe won.
I remember
Peachy Keen. Number 4, The Shield vs. Evolution 2014. Everyone always knew The Shield was awesome. You got eyes, look at the top B. But it wasn't until 2014 that the group started being allowed to properly get over with the audience as a babyface trio. Had a brilliant match with the Wyatt family at Elimination Chamber, an exhibition squash with Kane and the
4 minutes
Outlaws at WrestleMania Sex Letters. But then Extreme Rules happened. They ran head-on into the 3 still active members of Evolution, a faction that hadn't had a real reunion in 7 years. All of them never losers with a penchant for winning the wrong matches, and they got bodied. Evolution put the young certified future stars over clean as a sheet in one of the most fun trios matches in WWE history. Maybe the most fun trios match in WWE history, possibly second to their rematch of Payback, but that's only because of Blue Teaster. It was constant mayhem in the way that made the Shield work in the first place, capped off with a great dive from the Tron.
Look, Seth was smiling in that shot. I just realized that.
Plan B. Number 3, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar 2012. Had Brock Lesnar won this match, would have been number 1 with a bullet. How could you be handed Brock Lesnar on a silver platter? Back from a successful run as UFC heavyweight champion and the biggest box office draw in combat sports for the last 4 years, and have him lose in his first match back genuinely makes me cry.
Mrs. Dad.
It didn't even make sense for John Cena to win. The story. I thought the story coming out of WrestleMania was that he'd lost his groove because The Rock beat him, and he wins this match.
He shouldn't have.
Anyway, back to our regular.
He really shouldn't have won this one.
Programming. The WWE main event style was very distinct around this time. This match did not fit that style whatsoever. Brock Lesnar, being the madman that he is, busted Cena open hard way, hit a flying running knee that sent him ass over T kettle over the top rope and could have killed him. And I just had a feeling of danger and violence that had been completely absent from about 99% of matches during WWE's PG era. This wasn't polished and clean. It was a snuff film that felt like it could have ended at any time with Brock simply eating the heart out of Cena's chest until Cena wins long.
Super Cena.
Of course. Sure. Number 2, The Miz versus Cesaro versus Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens 2016. People bloody love this match. Most people have this match at number 1. And to be honest, fair enough. A lot is said about The Miz bringing some prestige back to the IC title in 2016. And while that's only mostly true,
that is that's not mostly true. That is very, very true. Miz did so much for the IC title. So much. It's so underrated. I respect what he did with that title. He's still a workhorse. I actually like Miz. Maybe that's just me, but yeah.
Title matches were at this level. It probably could have happened. This had all the fun of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fight forever energy, mixed in with Cesaro once again doing anything he could to just win a singles title in WWE.
Yeah, Cesaro's always wearing some Kinesio tape or something.
This match might have had the best pinfall break of any WWE match, with everyone waiting till the perfect moment to break things up and give fans reason to believe this is the finish time and time again. It was just so much fun to be had watching this match. Like most 4 ways, it follows the formula of guys taking turns before being dumped down, a new man enters and rotate, repeat.
Oh my god.
Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, also Miz, I suppose, although to be fair, his heelish antics are very funny in this match. You have a constant flow of excellent spots that never slows and builds anticipation for an eventual finish, seeing Miz finally pick his spot just right and escape with the title. It would be the best match on most pay-per-views, but not Extreme Rules 2016, turns out. That would be number 1, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles 2016.
I have heard good things about this match.
There is a reason AJ Styles won most
I have heard good things about this match.
Year award in 2016. It's because of matches like this. Roman Reigns was improving as a wrestler in 2016.
I just realized how much of a similarity, well, it's the same guy, sure, but similarity between Tribal Chief Roman and this version of Roman. I literally just realized it, but sure, it's the same guy, so it's not hard to see it. Anyway.
Still not quite at the level that he would be a few years later. However, when he was given a top-tier opponent, he could absolutely tear the house down.
He could.
There may be no wrestler in the world better in 2016 than AJ Styles. Just prior to his heel turn, he was caught in the middle of the club's feud with the Usos, which spilled over into this Extreme Rules match, and everyone got involved the gang's all here. Some say this match solidified AJ's place within WWE and in the eyes of Vince McMahon, having a blowaway match with the face of the company during a time where the WrestleMania 32 main event scene super didn't light the world on fire. If that's true, it is totally justified.
And to be fair, that WrestleMania 32 match was not a bad match. I mean, at least I've watched it a couple of times. I kind of like it. Definitely the pacing was slow, and there was 6 hours at that point of WrestleMania. The crowd wasn't going to get into it for sure. Coupled with the fact that they didn't really like Roman. Triple H's entrance was, well, fairly confusing. But yeah, it wasn't the worst match, but definitely wasn't the match. Well, that whole WrestleMania, now that I think about it, aside that first ladder match to open, the matches were a bit questionable. Anyway.
AJ did everything in the world to make Roman Reigns look like an unstoppable world champion, complete with dudes coming off the top rope, dudes
getting
being
speared
hit mid-air with ridiculous spears.
Perfect.
Extreme Rules has had many fantastic matches over its decade-plus history, but this one was phenomenal.
Sure, you had to pun that. You had to pun that.
I did. I had to. And that's our list. What's your favorite Extreme Rules?
Interesting list. I liked it. My thing is, my gripe with Extreme Rules, I guess, is, when they changed the logo in 2020, when it became the horror show at Extreme Rules, which, Vince went branding crazy. That's another thing for another day. But yeah, I wasn't really a fan. I haven't really been a fan of the new design for quite a while. I prefer the X's, I like the very old Extreme Rules, logo. Then when they changed it to the X, it was more simplified. I liked it, but that's just my opinion. But comment down below. Let me know what you think about this list. Let me know if I should check out the worst. I probably will. Now that I think about it. Check out this video. YouTube thinks you like it. I'll see you in another one. Peace, my G's.